Welcome to this second demonstration of isometrics. We're going to move on from our layout box, and what you want to do is with your layout box when you finish it is actually get rid of the extra lines that you don't need. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm getting ready to take this layout box and turn it into something else. You notice I'm using an eraser here. The center line here does not need to be here. This line does not need to be here. This line is gone. This line is gone. This line is gone. Okay, so this is going to give me just the layout box itself. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you know what is the top, what is the front, and what is the side of the box. This is going to help you immensely when you're doing your isometrics and even your orthographics if you get there, for the main reason that understanding which side is which is going to help you to visualize in your head what it should look like before you actually turn it into an isometric or an orthographic. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. So this is what you see here is sheet 2. It has the name and number associated with each isometric image. So this is the computer table number 2. Just focus this here. The moving van, which is number 3. So on and so forth. Okay, the T-block, the stairs, the castle top, each image So each image that you see here, I have actually 4 images, but I want you to focus on the top 2. I'm going to talk about the Dado for a second, and then we're going to move on to the computer table. We're going to talk about the Dado for a second. That's the first one we're going to do. What I want you to identify is the front, the side, and the top. There's a couple different ways to look at this. What I want you to look at the Dado is the first one that we're going to be drawing. If we look, this side here shows the most detail. This would be the front. This would be the side, and this would be the top. Also, if you notice, you can actually see inside of this image, okay? You can actually see inside of here. So this would be the top right in here. This is the top. This is the top. This is the side, and this is the side, okay, all the way through here. This right here is the front. Very simple. If we look at the computer table over here, this is the front. This is the front, even though it's on a slant. It's mostly visible from the front. The reason being is that the front shows the most detail, so we're going to look at it as if we're going to draw the Dado. So for our first object, we're going to draw the Dado, or Dado, however it is that you want to say it. We're going to draw this image first. Now what I want you to do is when you first draw any image, identify which lines already exist in your layout box and which lines need to come. You need to identify which lines exist from your layout box and which lines you need to draw in. If this is my layout box, and let me just bring this down for you, please. That's my layout box, and I want to transform it into this image here. A couple things we have to do. identify this. The Dado. So at the top, I've identified this as a Dado, and I'm now going to make this into the Dado itself. I get out my ruler. With my ruler, I'm just going to measure in with my ruler, I'm going to measure in a 1/2 inch on each side. From here, take my triangle, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm always going to put the base of my triangle on my baseline, and I'm going to just bring the lines down. The distance that I'm bringing the line down does not make a difference. If it's too short, I can make it longer. If it's too long, I can erase it and make it shorter. My advice is to make it longer than what you think. That way, all you have to do is just erase. You don't have to go back and try to put that line in later. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. Notice the base of my triangle is always on my baseline, and that these are completely vertical. Okay, they are vertical lines. They should be parallel with every other vertical line that's on here. Now what I do is take my triangle, base of my triangle goes on my baseline. I'm just going to start here. I'm going to make sure that I'm nice and level, meaning that the base is sitting, the base of my triangle is sitting on my baseline. I'm just going to draw my line back. Now if you notice, I went a little bit over here. It's all right, not a problem. Okay, so now I have like the front piece of this U shape. You notice I just created this U shape. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is flip my triangle around and make those two lines that come on back. So the base of my triangle, like always, is on my baseline. So what I did was I brought these lines back 30 degrees. Made sure the base of my triangle was on my baseline the whole time. I did not, for any reason, move my triangle. So base of my triangle is always resting on my baseline. You may have to hold it down with your hand, adjust it, hold it down again, but always check to make sure. If it's not parallel with your current lines, you're doing something wrong. Keep that in mind. Okay, now what I want to look at is, okay, I've got an extra line here that I don't need. I've got an extra line here that I don't need. So I'm just going to erase this. Okay, once you have finished erasing, I'm going to put it in my back line, and then I'm going to put in this line down here. Always putting the base of my triangle on the baseline. Okay, if you want to clean it up a little bit, you can go ahead and just erase a little bit more of the lines that you don't want to show on there. And that is how you make the Dado. Quite simple. very few lines,